We are expecting them to have a good group of friends. We're expecting them to make good choices. We're expecting them to eat a healthy diet. And I want to talk about sports. What are we seeing nowadays?
Sports injuries at a young age.
Sports injuries. Is that what you said?
At a very young age.
Okay, yes, I would agree with that. But we're seeing kids involved in highly competitive sports at the school age level. Okay, tell me more about that.
The loss of time, like,
So they go to school all day. They come home, maybe get some dinner, and they're back on the road to go to their sports practice or their game till 7, 8 o'clock at night. Then we come home and we gotta take a shower, and we still gotta do all of our homework. Now you're looking at 9 or 10 o'clock. They go to bed. They wake up by 6 to do it all over again. So they're not getting adequate sleep, right? When kids don't get adequate sleep, what happens? Huh? They cannot meet our expectations of all these things that we're expecting. I'm not standing up here to tell you I'm against organized sports or organized these activities. I just think we have to be mindful of what we're expecting of our children and are they able to meet these expectations. Each parent can decide that for them, but I see some kids that are in competitive soccer and competitive, I don't know, baseball and competitive this, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, my head can't even wrap around being competitive in one sport, let alone they're trying to maintain everything else they're trying to do as a kid. Like, at some point, we gotta let kids be kids too. So
it's like year round now.
yeah,
Yeah. Not just, like for softball, like, you went into different options.
just a thought.
I feel like it's a lot of pressure on like parents to get their kids in younger though, because like if you come in at an older age, then you're like behind and you're not gonna. That's how it was at least like growing up in the public schools.
Yeah, and you guys have to try out apparently, get on these sports teams and on and on and on and on. I wanna ask you all how many people that you graduated with are professional athletes? 1, 2, we got 2? Really?
Yeah, well, I went to school with the guys that can sing. I graduated with Kobe Bryant, or Kobe Bryant.
What?
Corby Jones, and
Okay.
the guy who owns Turkey Creek, Justin Farmer, like all those guys.
Okay. But rarity, right? I mean,
I know, like, you're getting it to the fact that it's gonna be very.
yes, so we gotta make priorities, but to each their own. Okay, let's keep moving on. Most common cause of severe injury in a school-age child is motor vehicle crash, either as a pedestrian or as a passenger. Under the age of 13, a child should be in the backseat of the car, restrained. Okay? We talked about scooter, skateboard, ATV injuries. They should have helmets on their head. Sports-wise, we're using helmets, we're using mouth guards, we're using cups for our young boys, we're using eye protection. All of those things to keep them as healthy as they can be while they are participating in activities. Now my favorite age. Adolescence. What?
This is real.
Yes.
You want to take mine?
Okay, you guys all probably remember what it's like to be in a teenager?
Yeah, I was a butthole.
I was a jerk.
Yeah.
I was a jerk. Yeah.
You were the
Okay.
No.
My mom loved it.
Okay, so we know it's 12 to 18-year-olds. They are invincible. They want nothing to do with their parents. They want everything to do with their peers. This is a beautiful example of their identity versus role confusion. They're literally looking in a mirror and they're trying to decide which version of me do I want to be, right? We don't give these kids enough credit. There is so much going on for them that they're trying to figure out. So, they want to figure out, what do I want to identify, or do I want to go down this path and be alienated? They're just trying to figure all of that out. Their group identity becomes important for their personality, right? Who they're going to be hanging around with, the decisions that they're going to make. They want to fit in. They are so hyper focused on themselves that they don't realize that the one zit on their forehead, nobody's probably gonna realize, but that's like all they can think about. And then they come into the issue of role confusion when they come to a conflict that they can't decide what route that they want to head down, okay? I think about hold on. Told you that I have to show you that. It's not cute, it's not. I think about religion here because kids are, right, you're raised in, and I'm gonna talk about just city in general, generally Catholic religion, not always. And you're raised in the Catholic home and you go to Catholic church, and this is where you'll see adolescents really start to push back and try to figure out, do they wanna follow those same footsteps or do they wanna do something different? And I think that's really hard for parents to kind of comprehend of what my kid doesn't wanna do, the same things that I do, or that we think are important values in our home, so. Just giving them that space where they can figure that stuff out, okay? Let's move on. Okay, they question their values and beliefs of the family, I already talked about that. They may fear what others will not that others don't understand them. They struggle between privileges and responsibility, tons of turmoil with their parents, and then peers play a significant role. So they don't like anything the parents have to say. They are gonna reject most things their parents say. There's gonna be tons of tension. However, this is interesting. Research has shown that the primary influence for these kids is their parents. They would never admit that, probably out loud, but research has shown that their parents still do remain a very strong influence in their life, okay? Privacy I talked about, right? The need for privacy when you're asking them certain questions, or they're getting undressed, or you're lifting them down to look at something, we have to respect their privacy. They are risk takers. What does that mean?
So they're invincible, so right? If their friend or somebody to do something, they might think that they need to do it, and then
They don't think of consequences. They're invincible. They don't think about what the risk they're getting themselves put at. What did you say, Kyrie?
They don't think things through.
Yeah, they don't think things through.
And maybe
So-
they just wanna fit in too.
Want to fit in. Why are they at risk, do you think, of more motor vehicle accidents?
they're not gonna drive distractions.
They're just learning to drive. They are full of distractions. But I also want you to think about how much kids grow in their adolescent years, right? Huge period of growth as far as height. And we know, I don't know, some of you have been pregnant in here, but when you're pregnant, you kind of forget that you're pregnant sometimes, and you still think you're your old size and you don't fit through. So it's just the way the brain starts to think about the size of the body, so their brains are not fully developed to understand their body's growing so fast. So what I'm telling you is sometimes they're very uncoordinated, which can lead to more car accidents. Okay, that's all I want to say. Okay, other things about the adolescent that we get to talk about with them. First of all, I already told you, this graph is beautiful, first of all. Let me get up here, I can show you a little closer. So it says that, it talks about their stress level. Only 6% of them said that they are not stressed. 54% said I'm somewhat stressed. 39% said I'm very stressed. So basically, all of them but 6% of them said that they are under stress. I would agree with you. So, they want to be good at everything, though they can't be. They want, I told you their blemishes are completely blown out of proportion. They're going to compare themselves to who? Their peers, and most importantly, you'll find this age group comparing themselves to like famous type of people. I want to be like so-and-so, or I want to look like so-and-so, which can lead to major issues when they cannot reach that. suicide, anorexia, drug use, risky behaviors, etc. I have sexuality up here, why? What do we need to talk about?
I think sexuality is like what they.
No, all of it, all of these are good things. We talk about STDs, we talk about sex, are you interested in males, are you interested in females, are you interested in both? What are you identifying as? We talk about that if no means no, if you're intimate with somebody and they say no, that means no. If you're intimate with somebody, both of you should be enjoying it. We talk about STDs, we talk about sexting, that's a good gist. Social media, what about it? What are kids on? Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. The list goes on and on and on and on. And not getting enough likes or not getting enough hits or whatever these kids are so hyper focused on. So that's a big influence on their life. Why do I have personal care up there? What do you guys think when you think of high school boys? You guys say they stink. What would they used to do? Don't they like spray themselves with like Axe? Yeah, it's like a cloud of Axe of like walking through. It's like, okay, dude. It's like video mixed with. Yeah, exactly.
My dad called those axe bombs.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's like what I think of when I think about high school boys. But anyway, so what about our girls? We don't want to just pick on the boys or the girls. What are girls worried about? Do I wear makeup? Do I not wear makeup? Do I wear this perfume? Do I wear that perfume? Do I get fake eyelashes? Do I go to the tanning bed? I mean, the list is ever evolving. Okay, posture. What do you see high schoolers doing? They're slouched over, they have the backpack on the one shoulder, they're just slumped over all day, and then I talked about the rapid growth. So you guys will see that we do scoliosis screenings. You guys should have learned about scoliosis screening in health assessment. I know you did, you were with me. What is the Adams forward bend test?
We didn't know.
Yes.
Did we learn that?
And then do the curve of the back.
Right? Yeah. What do you look at first? The shoulders. You look at their shoulder height, you look at their butt creases, you look at their little pockets, heel creases. Okay, then what do you have them do? They're gonna dive forward and you look at their back, right? Okay, we start doing that at the age of 7, but it becomes very important in adolescence. And we'll talk more about scoliosis with musculoskeletal. I already talked about tanning. Definitely that we're reviewing the long-term effects of that. What about body art? Why do I have that? What am I talking about? Piercings and tattoos. You bet. They want to get a tattoo or they want a piercing here. It's just the way that they express themselves. We talk about driving. We already talked about that. Motor vehicle accidents, texting and driving, not wearing their seatbelt, or just having risky driving in general. And then why are these kids stressed? Let's talk about that. Like what? Which one is?
So past school and also
Okay, so school,
do with the rest of their life.
school, sports. They're trying to figure out what the heck they're gonna do for the rest of their life. What else? Relationships, sex, whatever. What else? Work. What else? Parents, families. The other thing I think about is money. Those are all stressors for these kids. Good. Okay, that should be the last. Okay, 9 hours of sleep, that makes me laugh out loud. But teenagers getting 9 hours, it's very few. Because why? All those things you just told me. They go to school, they go to sport practice, they go to work till 12 o'clock at night. They come home, they do homework, they go to bed, they get 4 to 6 hours, maybe. That sounds realistic, right? That sounds about what teenagers are doing. And they're driving cars. You know what sleep deprived people are like? Have you heard this before? They're like, they're on roller coaster. Yes. Okay, what else do I have up there? Increase in nutritional requirements because of increase in body mass. That is true. They need calcium. Why? Yes, 3 servings a day. If not, they should be taking a supplement because they are growing. Peers are a huge influence of their eating habits. I think about our very type A females, often found in people that are dancers. They're very worried about their caloric intake. They need stick meals. They're very worried about body image. This is where we see a lot of eating disorders start to develop in the adolescent years. Okay? On the other hand, obesity is another realm of things we are starting to have to deal with more in the pediatric population. Okay, what if a kid is just, they come in and the parents, they just keep eating, they just eating and eating and eating. I don't know what to do, they just keep eating. What do you think?
Kind of like question.
How do I know if it's good or bad for them? What would you
Or if they look at their weight.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at them on the growth chart. Let's look at their height and weight. If they are okay, I don't care. If they are morbidly obese, we probably need to be talking about something. Okay? Questions. This is your growth and development, short, sweet, quick study guide.
You gonna give us your notes?
I told you all my notes. That's why I always check them, make sure I told you what you need or not. You'll always see me looking, okay, I told him that, I told him that.
You could just give us a copy.
Yeah. I think you're gonna be great. Okay. I am going to pain next. There are gonna be many slides, I tell you. I really just need to make this, what? I need to probably eliminate this part from almost and just cluster it like super loud, but I'm gonna tell you what you need to know about that.
Please don't add anything else for a while.
What's wrong with the lab day? It was too much? I talked too fast, I've been told that too.
I thought the lab day was awesome.
It was great.
It was a lot.
Oh, the assignment. Oh.
No, I had to.
Can you go pee?
Yeah.
Okay, go pee.
It said you can't keep editing this, you have to subscribe, okay? Well, everybody's not, I'm not even. Well, I have no ability to.
We are a very high.
Okay, this is an important thing. Why do we want to teach a child to use the pain scale before pain is expected, such as 3 hours? Do you know this one? Okay, she wants to know a baseline. What else? Great, they're not gonna be teachable when they're in pain. What else? When people come back post-operatively, what? They're often coming off sedation. So, you're gonna figure out what scale is gonna work for that child. You're gonna educate them before, so they are aware of what pain scale they're gonna be using. Okay, I encourage you to use the same scale throughout that entirety of their hospital stay. What does it mean when you ask somebody what their functional pain score is? Have you guys see that, right? And when you're charting, it's like, what is the score? And then you say the type of scale and what type of pharmacological did you do, non-pharmacological, and then it says somewhere down here, like, what is their functional pain score? What does that mean?
Pain score that they can tolerate and function at the same
Great,
time.
what pain can they function at? And that is typically the goal. Let's say I'm an 8, but my functional score is a 6.
Can children report that? Really?
If they're older. So if it's a 6, your goal is to get me to a 6 because you know I can function at it. I mean, ideally it would be lower, but your goal would be to get me to where I can function, right? Okay, you're gonna tell me this is true or false. You ready? This one's pretty easy. Infants do not feel pain.
False.
Okay, infants can't tell us if they are in pain.
False.
How would they tell me?
Crying.
Good. Other things do. Children have no memory of pain.
False.
Children tolerate pain better than adults.
False.
False. Children become accustomed to pain or painful stimuli.
False.
Narcotics are more dangerous for children than they are for adults.
True.
False.
True.
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 The same.
We're the same.
Okay.
Have cards or
Have you ever seen kids stuff?
I mean, me too.
Okay, I have an example for you. Okay, quickly, remind me about morphine if I forget to tell you the story, okay?
Okay.
Types of pain, you guys should know the difference between acute, chronic, whatever. I show you this because this is beautiful. When kids come in with like abdominal pain, which is a very common thing in kids, or headaches, they will often be given this diary. So we can try to look at it as nurses or people and see, okay, every Monday before school they have a headache. Every Thursday when they're in math class they have a headache. Every time they have ice cream they have abdominal pain. Okay, so each of these would be set up a little bit different depending on what type of pain we're tracking, but these are common things we will ask kids to do, so we can help, just because a wide variety of things can cause headaches or abdominal pain, so this helps guide us to figure out what exactly the trigger might be. Okay? Questions there? No? No?
No.
I am gonna talk about these. This is there for reference, but I wouldn't sit there and memorize them or study them. Okay? Okay, what do you guys know about the flat scale? Okay, first of all, this is something they tell us, or it's something that we observe on their behavior? Okay, so it's a behavioral observational type of scale, okay? We are looking at 5 things, correct? Their face, their legs, their activity, their cry, and whether they're consolable, correct? You following me? You're not gonna spend time memorizing this, but if you were to be given examples, you would be able to calculate a pain score. So if I gave you this scale, and I said, little Johnny has no particular expression, his legs are restless, he is lying quietly, he is moaning and whimpering, and he's difficult to console or comfort. What is his pain score? Okay, you follow me? Good. So 0 on this scale is no pain, then total score, then what's the biggest score you could get? 10. Good.
So would you give us that chart, or we just need to know what's in the chart?
No, you are not gonna spend your time memorizing letters. You would be given a chart and
It's
calculate.
like a Glasgow scale.
This is typically used in infants up to 4 years of age. You will often see this used post-operatively or in kids that are not able to communicate. So you could see this used in kids over 4 if developmentally they cannot communicate their pain to you, okay? This is probably the one you are most familiar with, correct? The basis scale, so we're at 0, no pain, 5, usually it's up to 10, probably what you're familiar seeing. So this is a self-reporting pain scale, right? They're able to tell us what their pain score is. How old, or they can point, right? How old do you think we typically use this in?
12?
6 to 12?
Typically, once they're over 4, we can reliably use this, because they can usually point to what face they're feeling. Okay? If you have a really good 3-year-old, you might get an okay reading, but typically over 4. The thing I want you to, why do you think we don't use it in really young children, like younger than 4? Yeah, okay, it's hard for kids to separate pain and maybe the mood that they're in. Does that make sense? They may be in a really bad mood, but they have no pain, and they're gonna tell you, I'm at a 5 or a 10, because they're in a bad mood. So they can't separate their mood or their feelings from their actual pain. This is probably the one you're gonna be seeing the most. This should look familiar to you as well. 0 to 10, same type of thing. Self-reporting pain scale. This does not have faces on it, as you will see. So what age do you think for this one? Probably 18.
Adolescent.
School age, usually over 8 is what we're saying. Okay? I tell people, basically, a child has to understand that, or understand the concept but as the numbers get bigger, the pain gets worse. So if they can understand that when they're counting, that the numbers are getting bigger, like that concept, then they're able to use the scale. So usually that's around 8 figures. This one I've actually never seen in practice, but we talk about it. What do you notice about each of these different? They're all the same, but they're like as far as 0 to 10 bases. What do you notice about the children in these pictures?
Different races.
Yeah. So the important thing is you have to use the appropriate race for the race of your patient for the scale to be appropriate.
It's weird. The middle very top.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but they talk about it in like every pediatric textbook. So I don't know if this is used in maybe East Coast, West Coast, somewhere else, but I've never seen it here.
I like the name.
Yeah. This should be straightforward. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this slide, other than communication barriers. If you have a patient that is Spanish speaking, that needs to be taken into consideration. Cognitive, what would be some diagnosis that may be targeting accurate pain assessments or autistic children, kids with cerebral palsy, which we'll talk about, maybe a kid with a brain injury, something like that. How do you know this baby's in pain? Okay, probably crying, the brows are drawn together, the face just looks like it's in pain, eyes are tightly closed. This is a spot in your textbook, I would not sit here and memorize every indicator of pain. You should have a general understanding that you know people are gonna moan, or they're gonna grimace, or they're gonna guard, or they may cry. Just a general understanding of what people are going to look like when they're in pain. Does that help? Let's talk about vital signs here. What do you expect the heart rate's gonna do if somebody's in pain? What do you think the breathing rate's gonna do if somebody's in pain? What do you think, the blood pressure's gonna do if somebody's in pain?
Increase.
What if a child is limping? Should you assume they're in pain?
Yes.
Okay, what if they're pulling at their ear?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Okay, name a couple of non-pharmacological pain relief options. What?
That's why.
Oh, okay, yeah. What else? What was that part earlier? Positioning, distraction, cue, chew. Okay. This should be a review. Remember, what is your range for Tylenol?
10 to 15.
Your range for Motrin? 5 to 10 what? Milligrams per what? Per what? Per what? Dose. Okay, so if you were given a weight and a range, or you were given a concentration and the amount you need to give, you could be able to calculate something, correct? Yes? PCA pumps, I just wanna briefly talk about, we do use them in children. What age do you think children are old enough to use a PCA pump? If they are old enough to play a video game, they are typically old enough to understand the concept of pushing the button and getting pain relief, okay? What are side effects of IV narcotics? What is the biggest?
It's for depression.
Okay, so you want what at the bedside? You're
Working.
giving IV morphine to a child. Oxygen and Lubac. You gonna put them on the monitor?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Okay, that's the last slide. Okay, that was short and sweet. You're gonna focus on what I talked about. You clear? Okay, I wanna tell a story about morphine and the importance of you guys, everyone gets really annoyed, hold on, like, okay, well, is it in the safe range? Did you calculate it? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I was a nurse. I used to precept a lot of nurses. Anyway, this girl was out on her own, and we were in the med room, and we needed to waste morphine, because it's a narcotic, so you have to waste it. And she was brand new, and you could tell she was stressed. So she's like, hey, Mindy, I need you to waste this morphine. I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. She's like, I need to give 12 milligrams of morphine. I'm like, you need to give what? She's like, I need to give 12 milligrams of morphine. And she was just like, yeah, logging into the Texas, pulling aside. I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, like, I've never given anybody 12 milligrams of morphine. I said, well, how big is this kid? Like, what's going on? So she's just like, they got this, they're posting it in there screaming, like, don't you hear them? Like, I just need to get this medicine, blah, blah. Long story short, she needed to give 1.2 milligrams of morphine. However, the order was written for 12 milligrams of morphine. She is correct. That is what her order on the computer said. That is what the pharmacist approved. That is what the Pyxis allowed her to pull out. But she needed that extra critical thinking to know, wait a minute, I shouldn't ever be giving anybody 12 milligrams of morphine. But you could see how that could happen. It was ordered, pharmacy says check, she pulls it out of the Pyxis, she goes and gives it, she's the last line before the patient. So, thank God she asked for somebody to witness her, or else I don't even want that kid was separated. But, so she called the doctor. Are you sure? And he said, oh my gosh, no, I meant 1.2 milligrams. Thank you so much for calling me. So, I don't tell you that to scare anybody. I just want, this is why it is so important in clinical when I'm like, did you calculate that? Are you sure you checked the same thing? Because if not, it can be detrimental to children. Certain issues, metabolism, or weight, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Just to empower you, not scare you. Okay, now I need you guys to get in groups of 2 or 3. Preferably groups of 2, there should be 1 group of 3, because there's 15 of you.
So,
This is the last PowerPoint
it's not.
for
Yeah.
Okay, are you in a group? I'm gonna go grab one, and I'll be right back. You guys wanna start finding immunizations in your text? In your textbook? Secret or on the computer?
Oh, yeah.
Where?
sure, I know on mine, I don't know if it's right. I'll never look at it.
What page did you say?
I mean, they're all here, but it just depends on which ones you get.
It's important that you know at what age they're getting what. But I think if I were you and I were studying, a lot of the same vaccines they get at 2, 4, 6. Once you know that, you can kind of figure out where the other ones come in. So we know around 12 months some things start to change. Then we know they have a set of school vaccines that they get.
I'm just gonna say
And we
that.
know again in 11
That's
they have some
just
vaccines
under
that
7
they
years
get,
of
and then we
age.
know before they go off to college they have some vaccines. But I think if you can put that in your brain, you will be able to answer any test question there were thrown at you. I think confidently. Okay? So, first of all, I think it's important that we know the
Yes.
difference between recommended versus required vaccines. What does that mean? Recommended versus required.
Required is something you have to be able to probably go to school or anything, and recommended is, it's best if you do it, but you don't.
Great. Required typically, required to go to daycare, to public schools, to the hospital facilities, so on and so forth. Recommended, strongly encouraged, but not, shouldn't dictate whether you can participate in certain activities, okay? What are the recommended but not required vaccines? Anybody have any ideas? There are 5.
Tetanus.
Okay, I heard rotavirus first.
Yes.
I agree with that. Rotavirus is a recommended, not required vaccine.
Oh, dope.
What else?
Nice sound effects.
HPV is a recommended, not required. We already said rotavirus. That's okay. Rotavirus and influenza are, I just want to know that one. Rotavirus,
Influenza and HPV.
HPV, influenza, there's 3, hepatitis A,
What about COVID?
and there you go, there's your 5th one. Let's review. Recommended, rotavirus, HPV, influenza, hepatitis A, and COVID. Yes, in the state of Missouri, not required. In some states, yes. I focus on Missouri.
No, that's, I just know that because
Yeah.
we lived in Utah, and had to get it
Had
for
to.
preschool and taught it.
Hefe and certain things, yeah. Okay, questions, okay, it says, okay, many different schedules, you guys know that, typically we follow the CDC guidelines, great. What questions do you as a nurse wanna ask before you give somebody vaccine?
Allergies.
Okay,
Have you ever?
I have, what allergies, what do you care about?
Eggs.
Huh? Egg, okay, maybe I'll agree with that. Sure, egg, okay. What else?
What their reactions to that?
Any history of a reaction to a vaccine, right? Good, okay. You wanna verify that you have an order, might be a good idea. You wanna verify that the order is appropriate for your patient, correct? If they've already had all of their hepatitis vaccines and the doctor orders another hepatitis, could they get it? Sure, but you should be critically thinking, why do they need this other vaccine, okay? We talked about getting their immunization history, any issues when they had vaccines before. We wanna get consent from the parent, right, that we can give it. What else do you get, what else are you often given before you get a vaccine? That vaccine information sheet, right? You guys know what I'm talking about? Okay. What are you gonna document after you give it?
Location,
Location?
home,
Sure.
I am not asking.
Okay. Where it was given IM sub-Q, the lot number of the vaccine, right? The type of vaccine, what was the expiration date of the vaccine? And then what will every patient probably want after they get the vaccine?
The VAERS
A
reporting
Band-Aid.
line.
What?
The VAERS reporting line.
A what?
The adverse reactions reporting.
Okay, that's usually on that vaccine information sheet, yeah. Yeah, I need a vaccine record, you betcha. Where did I tell you we give a lot of vaccines to? In children, excuse me.
Vastus lateralis.
Vastus lateralis. We will move up to the arm once they have a little bit more muscular tissue. Sometimes that's for their school age vaccine, sometimes it's not until they get their 11-year shots, just depends, okay? I have up here live vaccines. What are your live vaccines?
Chickenpox.
MMR, chickenpox, it's not called chickenpox vaccine, it's called varicella. MMR, varicella.
Are you including the, recommended a different
Any
Flu
vaccine.
mist.
coronavirus?
Rotavirus is live and the flu mist is live. You are correct. Okay, what do you guys know about live vaccines?
Not for pregnant women.
Okay. I agree. What else?
Newborns.
Can I give them on the same day?
You can.
Can I give?
Sorry, you can get them the same day, if they're not given the same day, you have to.
Thank you. If they are not given in the same day, then there has to be 4 weeks of spacing between any live vaccine because of the body's immune response, okay? Here we go. We already got in our groups, we're moving on. Quickly, side effects, this should be a review. You get pain, you might get mild fever, you might get chills, you might have fatigue, you might get a headache, you might get some joint aches. Why? Why do we get side effects? Why do we get,
Body's fighting
response.
off.
yeah, our body is building immunity to whatever we just put in our body. So it would be normal that our body is having somewhat of a little reaction from that. So serious side effects are rare. They will happen. At some point, as you are a nurse, you will give somebody a shot, there will be a reaction. Or you will start a medication and there will be a reaction. So you go to the Pyxis. And what do we give for anaphylaxis? We give epi. You're at the Pyxis. You pull up the Pyxis. The Pyxis says you want to pull epi. Yes, you click on epi. It then pulls up another screen and it says, do you want to give 1 per 1,000 epi, or do you want to give 1 per 10,000 epi? So then you're in a moment of panic because you know your patient's lips are swelling and the airway's closing. Oh my God, I don't know what epi I'm going to get. Anybody know? Don't know. One is used for coding, one is used for anaphylaxis. 1 per 10,000 is used in a code situation. 1 per 1,000 is used in a hypersensitivity anaphylaxis. I tell you that because at some point you're going to be a nurse and you're going to have to pull epi and you're going to have that screen pop up and you're going to be like, I just know I need to give epi, I don't know which one. But now you do. Okay, rest assured, you're ready. All right, who has Hep B? We got 15 minutes. You got Hep B. Tell me. Tell me what I need to know.
It's given at birth, 2 months and 6 months.
Okay, 3 doses.
Yep.
For
It's
2.
IM,
Okay,
for like, it said if the hepatitis B later, like, later than those, like, 6 months, that you can get an adulthood if they're taken out.
then get a what?
An adulthood.
Oh, okay, sure. I wouldn't bog my brain with that. It's given where? IM.
IM, vascular.
They have 3 doses, birth, 2 months, 6 months. Gotta get consent. What's to protect my baby again? What's that be gonna do to my kid?
Pink fluid, cirrhosis, or liver disease.
Liver disease, liver issues. Check. Required or recommended? Required. Move on with your life. Rotavirus. Who's got it? We do. Okay, it is recommended or required? Recommended is the live virus. Yes. Okay. How is it given? Oral. Go ahead. Tell us what you know. Sorry. I want you to know that it is given oral. Depending on the brand, will depend if it's 2 or 3 doses. Do not bog your brain down with that. You need to know that rotavirus is given orally. Why do we give it to people? So rotavirus, the virus itself, if a baby contracts it, will get perfused, could be profuse diarrhea that could lead to dehydration or death, correct? So that's why we give the rotavirus vaccine. Okay, given orally. It can be given as early as 6 weeks. The series must be completed before 32 weeks, or else don't even bother. Typically, there's 4 weeks between the doses. There is a risk with this vaccine. Anybody have any idea? I'm going to tell you something called intussusception. We'll learn about it in GI. The risk is low, but there is a risk. So I will tell parents, typically 1 week after the first or the second dose, your child can be at risk for something called intussusception. Basically, it's telescoping of the bowel. So you just need to know if you hear rotavirus, it's given orally. It is recommended. It is given as early as 6 weeks. It should be finished before 32 weeks. It protects against the rotavirus, which causes profuse diarrhea, and there's a risk of intussusception. Fair?
Yeah, we should see what
Okay, who has DTaP and Tdap? Those should be together. Awesome. Tell me what you know.
So it's for diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis.
Okay.
And then in the book, it has the first set of them to be done for children under the age of 7. Is that? Yeah.
2, 4, 6, 15, 18, before they go to kindergarten. Right?
Yep.
Okay, that's for DTaP, right?
Yeah, for DTaP.
Okay.
And then
You give a booster every 10 years typically.
This is the Tdap. So how are you going to remember? So first of all, they both protect against diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis. See, look up here, DTB, tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis, TDP. Why? Let's go back here. Why? What does that A stand for? What does this stand for?
Acellular.
Acellular. What does that mean? Okay, so the acellular part is with the pertussis, okay? Basically, that means that the pertussis protects against whooping cough, right? The acellular part, meaning that the whooping cough component of this vaccine only contains parts of the bacteria, not the whole bacteria. Okay, that's just, it doesn't stand for and, that's the point of my conversation. A is not and pertussis, it's acellular pertussis, okay? Why are these capitalized, DTP, versus this vaccine, the T is the only one capitalized? Okay, that means that's more of a full strength vaccine in comparison to this, okay? So, DTaP, 2, 4, 6, 15 to 18, 4 to 6, children under 7. You're gonna remember that because the T in Tdap looks like A7. If I cut use your imagination. Looks like a 7, right? Okay, it is given to children after they're over the age of 7. If they haven't completed the DTaP series, you would switch to TDAP. Typically, once they complete DTaP, if they're on schedule before kindergarten, they do not get another vaccine until 11 or 12 years. And then after that, it's how often?
Every 10.
Okay. Questions there?
So you said that the last one that they get of the DTaP was like less than 7 years old, and then is the next one the TDAP, is that given at 7, you wait till you're 11?
Wait till they're 11. Unless, let's say they haven't finished the DTaP series. Let's say they are 7 and they're ready for that last dose, then they would probably give them a TDAP. Or they may just skip away from the pediatrician. But, okay, hip, who's got hip? We got speed up. Hip. Nobody had hip? Okay. Haemophilus influenza type B. You need me to tell you about it?
No.
Did you do that? No?
Wait, no, we didn't. Did we have that?
I think so.
Why do we do the meningitis from it?
Okay, hip. Haemophilus influenza type B, given as 3 or 4 doses, typically 2, 4, 6, 12 to 15 if they need it. Okay? It will depend on the brand. You need to focus on 2, 4, 6. Okay? It is given, okay, first of all, Hib, the Haemophilus influenza type B, was a leading cause of bacterial meningitis. Maybe that's where that word came in. It is a leading cause of bacterial meningitis in children under the age of 5. So our beautiful Hib vaccine has protected our babies' brains from bacterial meningitis, in addition to respiratory type of illnesses, bacterial pneumonias, epiglottitis, those types of things. So we love the Hib vaccine in pediatrics.
Are the all of these IMs the TDAP and influenza too?
Moving on. Somebody should have one that's, who has pneumococcal? Nobody? Pneumococcal? Pneumonia vaccine? PCV 13? Nobody had it? Y'all are playing me for a fiddle.
Oh, what?
Oh shit, I never had it.
But I did it, I accidentally did it for, TDAP.
Oh, no.
Cause I read the
Okay.
She's so sweet.
Okay, pneumococcal attack, I'm in. Okay, it protects against pneumococcal disease. Most importantly, this is different than the pneumonia vaccine that we give older adults. Okay, we give PCV 13 in children. I don't know what the adult
I
one
think
is.
it's
Is it
Prevnar
like
15.
13 or
13 maybe.
I'm sorry, no, 15 or 18 or I don't know. There's some number for the older people.
Yeah.
They get it. I don't. Okay, we do the 13 in kids. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 12 to 15 months. I'll get a booster. Okay. Pneumococcal, a strain of that bacteria, also cause a lot of ear infections and meningitis in children. And so since we've given this vaccine, we've seen a decline in that.
And what infections, Minnie?
Meningitis and ear infections. Alright, move on. Somebody had polio in here, now don't even tell me you did. Okay, what about it? Notice this one's sub-Q or IM.
Huh? Polio?
You know about it?
No, we did. I don't know if it's inactivated. It's IM or sub-Q. 2, 4, 6 months, and then
Kindergarten vaccine. Right? 2, 4, 6, and then before kindergarten.
is the 6 years
That's your kindergarten. Okay. Sub-Q or IM. I am here to tell you there is a oral dose of polio vaccine. However, here's the caveat. It is strongly discouraged. And it is only possible for the 3rd or the 4th dose. Okay. We do not typically give oral polio vaccines here. So, if you had a test question and you had to pick between oral polio or sub-Q or IM polio, you're not gonna pick oral polio, right? Because why? It's strongly discouraged, it can only be for the 3rd or 4th dose. Good luck finding it, good luck affording it, okay? Strongly
Why do they
discouraged.
even have it in other countries?
Yeah. Typically other countries. And it is a awesome, just don't even worry about your brain for that part of it. Like, MMR, you guys have this, tell me about it.
Protects against measles, mumps, and rubella.
Great.
Sub-Q.
What, sub-Q? Good, okay.
And there's 2 doses, one at 12 to 15 months and the second at 4 to 6 months.
Kindergarten.
4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, sorry.
I knew what you meant, yeah, kindergarten, okay. Can pregnant women get this?
No.
This is a live vaccine? Okay, good, sometimes this vaccine is combined with the varicella vaccine, and you'll see it as MMRV, measles, mumps, rubella, varicella. Some pediatricians choose to separate them. CDC says they both get given at 12 months. Okay? What about that MMR outbreak? Or what if I'm traveling somewhere with my young child where there's an outbreak? Can you vaccinate them early?
Earlier than 12 months.
Can you? We get ready to
It's
see my
minimum
baby
age
and
of
we are going
12
somewhere
months.
and there is tons of measles. And I am just worried sick. Can you please just give them that shot?
Well, it says that measles can't be given at 6 to 11 months of age.
So you can give this vaccine as early as 6 months. If they are going somewhere and there's a highly populated area where the baby could get at risk of contracting, okay? However, they will still get these doses as listed when they turn these ages. Does that make sense? So it's, say they're going somewhere that could put their baby at risk, we can vaccinate them as early as 6 months, but when they turn 12 months and when they go to kindergarten, they're getting revaccinated, period. Okay, moving on. Who's got varicella?
And it's protects against chickenpox.
Yep.
Sub-Q as well.
Yep,
Also given at 12 to 15 has kindergarten shots.
okay. Okay. What if you gave my child varicella vaccine and now they have a rash?
It's okay to have the comes to
Can you
Yes.
say louder, please?
Say that louder.
It's okay, a lot of times in my kids with the MMR haven't, that they'll have flare-ups after like a rash or something.
Okay, should they stay away from people who have a weakened immune system while they have the rash?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, pregnant women can get this?
No.
Good. Pepe?
I have that one.
That's not good.
It's given intramuscular. You give it to all children at 1 year age, and then the second dose can be given no sooner than 6 months after the first one.
Okay, recommended or required?
Recommended.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, why do we think we should get Pepe? What does it say? It is spread through fecal oral, from contaminated food or water. When people don't wanna get it, I say, is your child ever gonna eat out? The answer is usually yes. And I'm like, well, do you always trust those health people or those people that are cooking your kids' food? They're gonna wash their hands after they use the restroom. So I think anybody that's eating out should probably get Pepe. Oh, I have a problem. Awesome. Thank you for letting me know. Look, she sees it on here. I am running into a problem. Sad face. We need to do something with your device. Moving forward. Meningococcal. I'm not kidding. It's what it's
It has a
telling
frowny
me.
It has a frowny
face
Yeah. We're collecting error information and then we will restart for you.
0% complete.
Yeah, 0%. What? How does this happen?
We have that.
Thank you. MCV4, meningococcal. Let me stutter there for you guys.
It's required.
Okay, good. When do we get it?
It's given up, either like 11, 12 years, with the booster at 16 to 18 years, then college freshmen should get it for, middle grade.
What she said.
Okay,
So
it's
it's
given
given-
at the 11-year well visit, a meningococcal vaccine. What else was given at 11?
Tdap.
Booster.
Tdap booster,
Mhm.
Tdap, meningitis, there's gonna be one other that we'll talk about for 11, okay? It protects against meningitis, this protects against, it says a MCV4, it protects against 4 different strains of meningococcal disease. Thank you. And there is now a meningococcal B vaccine that is relatively new. Came out in around 2014. I don't know if any of you have it, maybe some of you. It covers meningitis B only. It is also 2 doses, and it's not typically given until 16. Do not stress your brain. That's just a little FYI for you.
It's like 2 doses.
Yes, and then B is 2 doses. You need to focus on meningococcal MCV4. When is it given? What is it protecting? Who's got HPV? Okay.
I am, and then there's 3 shots in the series, which is the 0, 2, and 6 month.
Wait. HPV.
You get it like.
Like, that's not at 0 months, it's like you get it 3 months apart each time, or 2 months apart. I don't know, what did you do?
HPV. Y'all are struggling. Okay, HPV.
That's
What did they?
That's what it
She
said
said
on the
it.
thing.
What is?
like
You're gonna be vaccinating this little baby.
No, you get it like at 15, but that's like 0 months, and you get it like 2
Yeah.
months after that, then like 6 months.
Yeah,
after.
that's.
Here we go. Here's what you need to know. Y'all ready? We got HPV. What does it protect against? The human papillomavirus. What in the world is
Cervical cancer.
HPV can cause cancer? Where at? Where at? The cervix, oropharyngeal cancer, penile cancer, anal cancer, and genital warts. Okay. HPV vaccine protects against strain 6, 11, 16, and 18. Do not bog your brain, but 2 of those strains are cancer-causing HPV. This is the only vaccine that we have that protects people from getting some sort of cancer. Do boys or girls get this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, my boy, girls spread that, and he's not getting it. Okay, if he has sex, okay, well, he's not gonna do that. Like, me giving him the shot or giving her you're just promoting them to be sexually active, so. I'm just not really interested in that. Okay, I always say, okay, I'm gonna get graphic with you. If you think your child is never gonna put their mouth where it shouldn't belong, you're very naive. Or if you think your child is never gonna participate in those activities, you're probably wrong. But that HPV doesn't just cause cervical cancer, it causes cancers in other places like we just talked about. So, that's why it's important for our boys and our girls to be vaccinated. Okay, back to the dosing. If they get it before 15, it's 2 doses. If they get it after 15, it's 3 doses.
Yeah.
Perfect. Before 15, 2. After 15, 3. Great. Let me read my notes here. Okay. This vaccine will work best if we get it to children before they are sexually active, which is why we recommend before the age of 15. Started as early as age 11. studies show that it does not increase sexual behavior in children. There was a lot of hype about this vaccine when it came out. I want you to think about the age that we're giving this, 11 to 15. Typically, we were vaccinating females at the time. It says we should wait 15 minutes following because what was happening? Think about that age. A lot of people were passing out. Why were they passing out? Okay. Right, think about that age, first of all, hormonal, dramatic, all of those things. So there was some syncope related to it, that people, whoosh, that freaked them out. Okay, influenza, who's got that? We're almost done. What?
We do.
Okay, tell me about it.
There's lots of different kinds.
Okay.
Ours happens to be the flu level quadrivalent.
Okay.
It's not a live vaccine. It is given annually. It's recommended.
Okay.
So if you are over 3 years, you get 0.5. If you're younger than that, you get 0.25. And unless I let me go back to my notes. Oh, okay, 6 months through 8 years, if you've not been previously vaccinated, you get 2 doses, at least 4 weeks apart. If you've been vaccinated within the previous season, you get 0.5.
Okay, good. I like that information. New every year. Started giving it 6 months. If they're under the age of 9 and they're getting their first dose, they have to have a booster in 1 month. My child is 7. It is the first time they're getting their flu vaccine. How many doses do they need?
2.
So they need 1 today, and then when do they come back?
4 weeks.
A month later. Clear? Under the age of 9. Okay, let's say he got it when he was 6. He got the shot, he got it a month later, and he's now 7. How many shots does he need? 1 annually. We're clear? We can give it as young as when?
6 months.
Good. Nasal is what?
Live.
Live. Oh, but I have an egg allergy and a latex allergy. I can't get the flu vaccine. Okay, they can have this vaccine. Basically, they can. They just have to be observed longer for a reaction. Okay. Questions? COVID vaccine is not on here. That means I'm not going to test you on it. You have all of the information that your brains need for the first exam. Think about everything I talked about. You have 30 questions. That's all I get.
That's what's overwhelming.
Will I study the right thing? Yes. Okay, I have this up here. If you're not familiar with drawing up a vaccine or reconstituting stuff,